Potatoes gon' potate, taters gon' tate, and haters gon' hate.
It's 11:45 Wednesday night, and we are waiting for the bus to come so that we can be on our way to Athens for a day. We're gonna try and go see everything that is most important to see, especially at like the Acropolis, and making sure that we see everything related to the Greek gods and everything that related to ancient Greece. So follow us along. We're going to be going overnight. We stopped at 2:40 a.m. for a break for half an hour, and it's 3:10 a.m. now, and so we're gonna keep going.
Athens is Europe's oldest capital, going back 3,400 years ago. It is known as a city that is an open-air museum, with there being more than 300 museums just within the city of Athens. Athens received its name by being named after Athena. After the story goes that Athena and Poseidon both fought to see who could have the city named after them, and Athena hit the ground and an olive tree grew. Athens has the most theatrical stages in the world, being 148 just within Athens. The first known democracy was started in Athens in 500 BC. Digging was done in order to make metro trains in Athens, but was soon abandoned because everywhere that digging sites were made, new ruins were discovered underground. Athens was also not Greece's first capital city. The first Olympic Games did not take place in Athens, but actually in the city of Olympia. The National Museum of Athens, with the statue of Socrates on the right, and one of the big major universities of the city of Athens. The Panathenaic Stadium is the only stadium in the world made fully out of marble and hosted the first modern Olympics in 1896.
Look at that! And look at it from behind. Can't believe that I really got to see the stadium, the original stadium for the Olympic Games. That's pretty cool.
Wild oranges growing around Athens.
We're at Acropolis now, but we have to climb a ton of stairs in order to get up.
The word Acropolis means high city, Akros means high, polis means city, roughly. The best preserved temple in Athens is the Temple of Hephaestus, can be seen down there. The Acropolis was actually built in order to be used as military defense. In the 13th century BCE, the ancient Mycenaeans had actually built defensive walls around on the hill, which is known as Acropolis, and was used actually as defense for 8 centuries. The Persians had attacked the Athenians and actually destroyed a lot of the Acropolis, and multiple structures had to be rebuilt here, including the Parthenon and the Temple of Athena Nike. The columns of the Parthenon are built skinnier at the top and thicker at the bottom, to resemble kind of the body shape of a woman, and the stairs as well are skinnier at the top and thicker at the bottom. What a lot of people don't know is that actually a lot of the structures in the Acropolis were painted in multiple different colors, but they kind of turned like this white and like tan color because they were bleached by the sun over the years. This is the presumed spot where Athena's olive tree grew. This is not the original one because that one burned down. Eventually, the Acropolis came under attack, and the Ottoman Empire had taken hold of the Acropolis, and they had actually destroyed a bunch of the Acropolis again, and they housed munition here. And in order for the Greeks to kind of get the Acropolis back and a hold of their land, they got an agreement with the British that the British would help them out by creating a treaty with the Ottoman Empire. Because of this treaty between the Ottoman Empire and the British Empire, the Ottoman Empire gave permission to the British Empire to take a whole bunch of different marbles that were owned by Greece and house them in their museums, and to this day, Britain still refuses to give them back to Greece. Nazi Germany at one point invaded Greece and raised the swastika flag up on Acropolis. This is a temple for Athena, and a whole bunch of women statues were built to also celebrate the beauty of Greek women.
Beautiful. We are in the Pantheon. It's beautiful. I mean, we still are in the Pantheon. We're slowly exiting. But it was gorgeous. I think one of the most beautiful things, like in my top 5 for sure, that I've seen around the world so far. I think it looks amazing. A Roman agora. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Gorgeous the way it was made. Gorgeous! Like, I wish I lived in a city as historical as this. Just live with history around you.
A digging site that was started for a metro train and was immediately stopped once ruins were discovered. In ancient Athens, there were multiple streets that were marketplaces. A bunch of these streets are still held as marketplace streets today. Many foreigners came into Athens bringing their profession from their country or the product that's most popularly made in their country to Athens to continue producing it and selling it in Athens. And today, a lot of those products are still being made, such as leather goods, soaps, herbs, medications, woodwork, clothing made out of wool and silk, condiments, and a lot of other things. This is the Metropolitan Church of Athens, or the Metropolitan Cathedral of Athens, or also known as the Holy Metropolitan Church of the Annunciation to the Virgin Mary. So this cathedral was built on Christmas Day in 1842, but the construction was stopped in 1843 because they didn't have enough money, and was completed in 1862. It was constructed with materials from over 70 abandoned or ruined churches, and the interior includes a whole bunch of different kinds of frescoes and icons in a 24-meter high dome. The area where this church stands used to have Ottoman metropolitan buildings standing in that spot. And there's the ashes of 2 Orthodox martyrs, Agia Philote and Patriarch Gregory V, buried in a marble chest carved by the celebrated Greek sculptor Yannulis Halepas. Agia Philote was made a saint for saving Greek women who'd been taken into Turkish harems, and Gregory was dumped into the Bosphorus after hanging. His body was rescued and brought back to Athens. This is also the cathedral church of the Archbishopric of Athens and all of Greece. So basically, it's Greece's church, like the church of all of Greece. This is Hadrian's Arch, otherwise known as the entrance to Zeus's temple. Hadrian's Arch, which was built when Athens was one.
No longer Theseus. So we made it to the Temple of Zeus, and I'll show you guys the gateway in to Olympian. The Temple of Olympian Zeus.
This is called the Temple of Olympian Zeus because the name was given to him due to the fact that he is the head of the Olympian gods, the biggest god. And it was the largest ancient temple, being 17 meters high, and originally had 104 columns, but only 16 survived.
This is a lot of just remains because a lot of stuff have been destroyed by the Italians and by the Turkish. A Roman bath inside of the Temple of Zeus. Temple of Olympian Zeus.
So this is Socrates' prison, and it's called Socrates' prison because of how close it is to the Athenian Agora, which was an open marketplace. It's basically just an ancient bath, but it was used during World War II to hide antiquities from the Acropolis and the National Archaeological Museum.
It's not much, literally this is it. I really thought it was Socrates' prison, like he was imprisoned for something. They connect like towards the back, loops around to the other one.
This is also the rock from where the Apostle Paul stood in order to preach to tons and tons of Athenians about Christianity when it first was born. So these soldiers in the brown are not allowed to move at all. They are not allowed to wipe their own sweat, which is why this military soldier is wiping his sweat as well as also checking to make sure that he's still properly dressed. These soldiers, the ones in brown, have to go through a special training and schooling, a regimen that is so strict that it even impacts their personal life, in order to be able to keep post in front of the Hellenic Parliament and in front of the tomb of the unknown soldier, which is in the middle between both of them. And we actually got to witness the changing of guards, which took about 10 minutes in total.
Every hour they do a changing of the guards. legend with Spartans fighting with 300 Spartans and 1,000 people from the area around here fighting, some say 1 million Persians, is marked here by the Spartan statue at the Thermopyles, which is thermal pools. And they have a whole bunch of statues here too.
Meow meow. Eat it! Oh my god, it's cheese, eat it! Moftoros! Meow meow.